Hello. Hi. Today we're going to be talking about how to get out of the rat race. What is the rat race and how do we get out of it? On today's episode of the Stack Sats Show, we're also going to be buying some Bitcoin later on. Stacking sats, that's what we call it. And whatever random topics come up in the chat. So if you have a question at any point during the show, ask it in the chat and we'll address it. So I love that audience interaction. Speaking of audience interaction, round of applause and shout out for BTC Backpacker and Carlos Jaramillo in the house. What up, guys? Thanks for tuning in. Smack that like button and let's get the show rolling. Okay, before we talk about how to get out of the rat race, let me show you something. Okay. Set strength. In order to get out of the rat race, you're gonna have to understand these concepts. Okay. Bitcoin today is priced at $63,000. You might look at Bitcoin and say, wow, that's expensive. But you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin all at once. You could buy a fraction of a Bitcoin, and that fraction of a Bitcoin is called a Satoshi. A dollar has 100 cents, and a Bitcoin has 100 million Satoshis. Right now, you can buy 1,586 Satoshis for a single dollar. Or let's just say you're walking down the street minding your own business. You look down, you see a penny, you pick it up, and all the day you could buy about 16 Satoshis for that one penny. Okay? It's important because when we started this show about a year ago, we were buying about 40 Satoshis for a single penny. And now we can only afford 15 Satoshis for a single penny. That tells you that the purchasing power of the dollar has gone down against Bitcoin. So if you were just to simply save in Bitcoin, you would be a lot better off. And that's kind of just give it away right there. That's kind of how you're going to get out of the rat race. But we'll talk about that more during the Why We Stack segment, okay? So let's get back into the main view here. Welcome. Thanks for tuning in, boys. So let's talk about, now that we know what Bitcoin is, what the strength of it is, how we can buy it. Let's talk about how Bitcoin can help us get out of that rat race. In my node, I verify. Let's go. What up, Hard Huddle in the house? Round of applause from the live studio audience for Hard Huddle. All right, let's jump into this segment. Why we stack, aka how to escape the rat race. Okay, look, you're working hard, you got educated, you took out student loans to get a good education, or maybe you didn't take out student loans, whatever. But you went through and you did all the hard stuff, did all the hard work to become a better educated, more productive human being that could exchange their time for value. Okay? Society has a contract with us, with you, with me, that says if you work hard enough and prove yourself and do the right thing, you will be prosperous, right? But what society didn't tell you is that the money they have you using, the dollar system, the peso, whatever money happens to be in your local demographic, in your local geographic location, so your country, that money, all government money, is called fiat. It's backed by policy. It's backed by, hey, we say this is worth something, so therefore it's worth something, right? But if that government were to go away, the value of that dollar, the value of that paper money is worthless, right? On the flip side, you have to work for those dollars. You have to work for that fiat money, but people in the government can just print more of it and decide, okay, we're gonna finance. We're gonna need some money to spend on this bridge. We're gonna need some money to spend on this war. We're gonna need some money to spend on this aid. We're gonna need some money to spend on this on tax breaks for these rich companies that are already getting grants to do research and all this stuff, and then they pocket all the profits and whine about it when they have losses because of poor investment decisions, right? They come to the people, try to gas people to bail them out, especially banks. Okay, I'm getting sidetracked. I got way sidetracked, guys. I'm sorry. All right, I'm trying to bring it back. I'm trying to remember where I was. I just kept going with the whole sidetrack there. Okay, anyway, so you're working for this money that the government can just print out of thin air, right? And that's as if that wasn't aggravating enough. Why do I have to spend my hard-earned? Why do I have to spend my limited resources, my time? Why do I have to go and spend time to get educated, to get a good job that pays decent salary, so that I can work for this money, and work so hard for this money that the government could just print out of nothing, right? And now, if you can get over that, on top of that, they're taxing you on that income, right? They're taxing you on the income to quote unquote pay for services that the city requires, or that whatever the government needs to run the government, right? And it's not really, they don't really need to. They have the money printer. Why are they charging you taxes? It's another mechanism of control. It's another way to steal some of that prosperity from you, some of that hard work you've been doing. They're gonna take a little chunk off of it right off the top. Okay, right off the top. If you just got on your paycheck and you went, let's just say you went to the bank to cash it for cash, right? And I was waiting for you outside the bank and said, hey, from here on out, I need you to give me your check. I need you to give me 30% of your check every time you get paid. What would you say? You'd say, get out of here. You're nuts. No way. Probably call the cops on me, right? All right. And what if I said, all right, I'll be here next week. Make sure you have my 30% of that money that you earned and worked so hard for, okay? Because I can spend it better than you, okay? So next week or the next pay period comes, you're at the bank, you cash your check, and I'm outside the bank waiting for you. So all right, hand over my 30% of your paycheck, and you'd be like, get out of here, and then I bust your kneecap until you give me that 30%, or I put you in jail until you give me that 30%, right? That's what the government's doing. They're extorting you. They're extorting you because what happens if you don't pay your taxes? You don't get hit in the kneecap, but you get taken to jail, right? For not paying your taxes, for not paying whatever, right? I'm not saying don't pay your taxes, guys. I'm just saying look at it for what it is, right? If it was anybody else doing the same thing the government's doing it to you, you wouldn't be okay with it, right? Anyway, let's get back on track. So when you're saving, when you're working for that dollar, right, and you have your initial pay, that pay represents as accurately as possible the value that you were willing to exchange for your hours of labor. Okay, you were willing to work for X amount an hour. You worked for those 2 weeks and you got paid, and then now that paycheck represents the past 2 weeks worth of work, right? And now that paycheck from that value that you exchanged for your life force, the government comes in and takes 30 or 40% depending on your tax bracket, and then whatever's left of that you think is free and clear, but you put it in your bank account, for example, or you save it for future use. And every day that goes by, as the government continues to print money and issue more debt, and banks continue to issue more debt, they're expanding the money supply. And as that money supply increases, the value of each individual dollar reduces. Another way of saying that is the purchasing power of each individual dollar reduces. Okay? The longer you hold that dollar, just because of the nature of how the government works. They print money and banks issue debt. They're doing it every day, continuously to eternity, which means that any value that's stored in that same asset class, in that same dollar system, in that cash, is going to continue to lose value over time. So what you do is after you get paid, after you pay your taxes, you pay whatever you got to pay, you take the rest of that money and you put it into an asset class that's going to shield you from that inflation. You put it into Bitcoin. And again, this is my strategy. You can choose to do it too, but this is not financial advice. This is just the way I'm doing it because it makes more sense to me that if I were to take the value that I exchanged for my life force or my work and put that value into something into Bitcoin, right? Since Bitcoin has a limited supply, it's capped at 21 million. There's no inflation, right? There is a little bit of inflation because all of the Bitcoin that's in existence has not been released into the supply yet. But at this point, the inflation rate of Bitcoin is less than 2%, right? It's actually less than gold now because of the halving and how that works. Okay. But anyway, the final Satoshi, the final fraction of a Bitcoin will be released in the year 2140, I think. 2140 or maybe 2144. And then all the Bitcoin will be released in circulation, right? So about 94% of all Bitcoin has already been released and is in circulation. We're just waiting for that last 6%, right? But still, even then, that last 6% is going to get distributed back. It's going to get released into the economy, released into the Bitcoin network over the span of 100 years, right? So we won't be around by then. But the Satoshis that you're stacking now, the Bitcoin that you're stacking now, will be worth a whole lot more for you in the future and for your future generations of your lineage. It'll be worth a lot to them, okay? Anyway, so how do we escape the rat race today, though, right? Okay, well, you save in Bitcoin. Super simple. You take whatever value you want to shield from inflation. Even if you're saving for something, if you're saving to get a house, saving to buy a car, saving for a down payment on a house, right? The way that Bitcoin grows relative to the dollar, especially when they lower the interest rate and the money printer goes on, and all cash is being, and there's more cash being flooded into the system so that people can feel wealthier, right? Then that's when the money depreciates even harder. It gets debased even harder, right? When the government gives you stimulus checks, right? That money is coming from nowhere. It just printed up out of nothing. But since that money exists in the same pool as everybody else's money, it leaches some of the value away from people that are savers, right? So the continuous money printing demotivates people from saving and turns everybody into like a spender, right? And that's kind of what they want. They don't want you to own anything. They want you to be constantly working, never have enough time to save for retirement, never have enough time to save for anything because they want you always busy, right? So how do we get out of the rat race? Just bring it all back by doing something that's super simple, okay? You take and you buy as much Bitcoin as you can comfortably afford, right? And hold it. That's it. Buy it, hold it. And the way you hold it is you buy it off. Say, for example, you're going to buy it off an exchange. You buy it off an exchange like, for example, Swan. That's the one we use. And then you take it off the exchange into self-custody. And if you don't know what self-custody is, we have a whole bunch of videos on that. I can explain it to you today. If you have a question, just ask it. Leave it in the chat. Leave it in the comments if you're watching the replay, okay? It's super simple. You don't have to do anything else. All you got to do is buy Bitcoin. Not even a whole Bitcoin, just fractions of a Bitcoin. Buy Satoshis, okay? Buy pennies of a Bitcoin, which are Satoshis. Buy fractions of a Bitcoin, right? Right. Today you can buy 1,500 Satoshis for $1. I mean, it's that affordable, right? One day you might have to pay $1 for a Satoshi, right? When 1 penny is worth 1 Satoshi, Bitcoin will be worth $1 million. Okay, so we're on our way. You have the opportunity today to buy Bitcoin on discount relative to the price where it's going to be, right? And again, nothing is for sure. I can't say with 100% certainty that Bitcoin's going to go up forever. But if the government continues to print and the debt continues to grow, right? There's only so much money in existence today to pay off the national debt. So as the national debt increases, the existence of that money has to come into fruition because they have to sell treasury notes to raise the capital to pay back their own loans, their own debt. And at this point, the interest on the national debt is over $1 trillion. I think it's a quarter now. $1 trillion. No, is it a quarter or a year? Anyway, the interest on the national debt is insane. Okay, all right. It's U.S. total interest paid, interest per adult. Okay. Anyway, so look at that. We're almost at $35 trillion in debt. Okay, and our revenue is not even covering the interest. So the dollar is already dead. All the other currencies that are backed by the dollar are already dead. It's just going to take a long time for it to actually keel over. Okay? I'm not saying that I'm rooting against the dollar, right? Because if they stop printing today, then maybe we could figure something out. But they're going to keep printing, okay? They're going to keep printing no matter what. And that's almost a guarantee. And the fact that they're going to continue to print almost guarantees that Bitcoin will continue to go up in value because it's going to take more weaker dollars to buy the same amount of stuff, the same amount of harder assets. That's why the prices of homes go up, right? That's why the prices of Bitcoin goes up. That's why the price of stocks go up, right? You're using, as the money supply expands and the money supply grows, you are not getting wealthier. You're actually just adding more digits to your counter, but the value to buy those things stays the same. Okay, it's a really hard concept because there's a lot of moving variables. Let's go into this real quick because I want to just get this concept out there. Okay, I mean it's out there, but I want to explain it in my own way or try explaining it in a different way. So, if let's do an example. If I have a thing, and let's call it a collector's item. Let's say I have the Mona Lisa. Let's say I own let's say this Body Republic flag over here is one of a kind, and only one in existence, and it's a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece, and it's worth we'll say 1% of the circulating money supply. Okay, just bear with me, and we're not gonna say dollars. We're not gonna say anything. We're just gonna call them. We're gonna call them backpacker bucks. Okay, backpacker bucks. There's only 100 backpacker bucks in existence. Okay, so this flag costs us 1% of the backpacker bucks money supply. Therefore, the flag costs one backpacker buck. Okay, so the government also runs on backpacker bucks, and now they want to fund something that they don't want to take to the voters. So they say, you know what? We are the government. We own the backpacker bucks money printer, and BTC Backpacker over there needs a new. I don't know. He needs a new shed. I don't know. Making stuff up. He needs a new shed. BTC Backpacker, he's a government today. Okay, sorry BTC Backpacker, you're the government today. And he's got BTC Backpacker bucks. Okay, and so the flag costs 1% of the supply of Backpacker bucks, but BTC Backpacker wants to you get some of that money so you can get some of that value so you can build something, right, or whatever. And so he decides that he's going to expand the backpacker bucks supply by another 100 backpacker bucks. Okay. And so nobody gets mad. He's going to give everybody that uses a BTC backpacker buck one BTC backpacker buck, and he's going to pocket the rest. Okay. So let's just say there's 10 people using it, not including him. He prints out, he creates another 100, he creates another 100 backpacker bucks. Now there's 200 backpacker bucks in existence, right? And the people that got the extra one backpacker buck feel like, oh, that's awesome. Thanks BTC Backpacker for giving me an extra buck. I feel a little bit more rich. But what they don't realize is, even though he gave them an extra backpacker buck, he increased the money supply. So now the prices of everything are going to go up. And in essence, he's stolen from them, right? Because the correct thing to do if he expanded the money supply would be to distribute that new money amongst everybody. And if you did that, you wouldn't have to expand the money supply, because you wouldn't be trying to steal from people, right? That's all they steal from people. That's what they're doing right now. Every single day. I'll finish this example in a second, but that's what they're doing right now. Every single day. See that money printer going up? See that value going up? You're not making 100,000. Look at right there, and 100,000, and 100,000, right? We'll say 50,000. 50,000 right there. 50,000 right there. 50,000 right there. 50,000 right there. That's how much somebody in the United States on average makes a year. $50,000, $60,000, right? So there's no way you can work and beat that wheel, beat that hamster wheel, beat that rat race if you're saving in dollars, because they're constantly debasing it the same way that I just told you my example. I explained in my example. Let's go back to the example. Here's what happens. The money supply went from 100 BTC backpacker bucks to 200, but this thing that's rare and hard to make more of, and you can never make more of this, it's the only one of a kind. It's like the Mona Lisa of flags, okay? It's still worth 1% of the money supply. That's its estimated value, okay? And before, the money supply was 100 backpacker bucks, okay? But now, since we inflated the money supply and debased the citizenship, right? This thing that's rare and hard to make still demands 1% of the money supply. Okay? So what is that value? Well, if the BTC backpacker bucks went up from 100 supply to 200 supply, 2% of that supply is now $2. Okay? So now this flag is worth $2. Okay? Now, since I own this flag, okay, riddle me this. Did I get wealthier? Did I get wealthier because my unique one-of-a-kind thing is worth now twice as much? If we know that the supply of money increased by whatever, it doubled 100%, right? So no, you're not. But you're going to feel richer because you're going to say, hey, I bought this for $1 and now it's worth $2. Okay? Right? You're going to feel richer. But if you take into account the expansion of the money, then you're treading water. You didn't lose any value, which is great, right? Because it's still worth 1% of the supply. But what about on other things like your salary, right? If the money supply doubled, did you get a 100% raise on your last job performance review? I doubt it, right? No matter how good of an employee you are, you probably didn't get a 100% raise in a year, right? To cover the money supply increase, right? It's a very crazy concepts and difficult to put together, but that's what's in essence happening today, right? It's happening continuously, right? And now, actually more than ever, at a faster rate than you can actually feel it, right? So that's what's keeping you in the rat race. That is the rat race right there. Is that no matter what you do, you can work 2 jobs and an Uber on the side. That is the running joke here on the show, that you can work 2 jobs and an Uber on the side and still not keep ahead with inflation, still not keep ahead with the rate at which they're printing money. Okay? The only thing you could do is figure out how you get more of these rare things like this flag, right? That's at least going to retain the purchasing power of your work, right? And on top of that, once people start to figure out that the way to preserve their value and keep it from inflation is with Bitcoin, then you have more people showing up to buy that rare thing. Because now instead of being just one flag, the Mona Lisa of flags, okay, you can buy 1 out of 21 million Mona Lisas of finance, of value, okay, of value, okay. Bitcoin represents like basically energy, value, economic energy trapped in an asset class that you can hold in your brain, that you can transfer over space and time. It's amazing, okay. So that's in concept applies. So what makes Bitcoin go up in price? Well, the fact that it's scarce, right? And the fact that it's representing a certain amount of value. And as more and more people figure out that it can shield you from that inflation, that more and more people are going to want it. Once people understand what I've been trying to tell you this whole year, once more people understand that, more people will come to Bitcoin for the sake of not being debased, right? If you had $100 million in your possession, say you have a rich uncle you didn't know about, they passed away, and you were the last descendant to inherit their will or whatever on their will, and you come up on $100 million, you come up on $1 million, okay? Whatever, you pay your taxes and all that stuff. But let's say all said and done, you paid your taxes and you have $100 million in cash in your account. What do you do with it? Right? Knowing that if you put it into real estate, buy a really cool place and use it as an investment property, you're still going to have to pay taxes on that. You're still going to have to pay insurance on that. You're still going to have to basically maintain it. And you're losing part of that $100 million slow and steady year over year. And maybe in the span of 20 or 30 years, you'll be back to not having enough to own that place to even pay the taxes on it. And now you are back to square one, right? That sucks. Or if you take that same $100 million, put it into Bitcoin, it doesn't leak. There's no taxes on it after you purchase it. You just buy it, pay the whatever. If you're just sending it to one address, pay the $10, $5, $3 network fee on Bitcoin to transfer it over, right? Pay the broker fee for buying the Bitcoin, I guess, right? But besides that, once you have it in your possession, once it's in your custody, it's not gonna leak. You can have it for a year. You can have it for 100 years. It's not gonna cost you anything more. It's not gonna cost you anything different to hold Bitcoin for one day than it does to hold Bitcoin for 1 year, for 10 years, for 100 years, right? It's an asset that doesn't leak. And so just by the nature of being able to point at something and say, I have one of these rare things that everybody wants that shields you from inflation, I'm going to hold it. And if I hold it, it's not going to deteriorate. It's not going to, this flag, if my house catches fire, I'm like, knock on wood, hopefully not, that flag is burnt, right? If it gets stained, it loses value, right? If it just gets old, or the paint or the ink starts to fade, it loses value, right? But Bitcoin doesn't. It doesn't degrade, right? It exists on the ledger, on all the nodes on the Bitcoin network, and there's no way for it to just go away out of nowhere. If the Bitcoin network stops functioning, if the internet stops working, and we don't have electricity, then we're in a different situation altogether. And trust me, if you can't get your Bitcoin off of an exchange, if you can't get your Bitcoin, or if the Bitcoin network is not running, we have bigger problems. Okay, I bet your bank won't be running either. Right? Anyway, so that is a really long segment on why we stack and how to get out of the rat race. Buy Bitcoin, take custody of that Bitcoin, and do it again, or just relax, hang out with your family, hang out with your friends, go do cool stuff. Okay? Buy Bitcoin, take custody, hodl, and then study more Bitcoin with your spare time. Okay? And slow and steady, you'll be getting wealthier and wealthier just by holding the Bitcoin. Let me show you. Let's go into Stack Recap. Stack Recap. Okay, so I'm not just talking here, guys. The whole purpose of this show was to someday be able to go back a year later and tell you, like today, whoa, we started stacking Bitcoin back in May 22nd, 2023, when Bitcoin was $27,360. And people were saying, it might go down to 25. It might go down to 20. It might go down to 18. It might go down to 14. Some people were even saying they were waiting for 8,000K Bitcoin. Sorry, for $8,000 Bitcoin back in May a year ago, right? They're saying, oh, it's going to have a big drop, and I'm waiting till then, right? What happened to those guys? They got left behind, okay? Because they're waiting to buy in, and they probably bought back in over here in the 30s or 40s, right? Or maybe not at all. Maybe now that Bitcoin is at what? $63,000, when Bitcoin dropped recently to $58,000. Those same people are saying, oh, it dropped to 58,000. I'm going to wait till it gets to like 51, 52 and then buy in. And what happened? Once again, they got left behind and we're up at 63 again, right? So don't get left behind. Do the research, just look into it and you'll see. Look, again, May 22nd, 2023, we started buying Bitcoin at 27,000 and we bought $5 to $10 each weekday for the whole lifespan of the show. We're at like 212 episodes, I think, right? And all of our purchases are in here. Okay. Today, our little modest stack for Bitcoin for the show we're holding 0.15 Bitcoin. And you might say to yourself, that's not even one Bitcoin. That's nothing. It is nothing. But is it? Right? We've spent $6,132 to accumulate this Bitcoin. And today, if you were to go and actually try to purchase 0.1579 Bitcoin with today's weaker dollars, you would have to pay 62% more weaker dollars today to buy the same amount of Bitcoin. See? This is not a flex. I'm not showing this because I'm saying I'm gaining. There's no gain here. There's no gain here. This is like the flag on the wall, right? The fact that you're using the dollar as a measuring stick is the problem. You got to use Bitcoin as a measuring stick, okay? And when you use a dollar as a measuring stick, that measuring stick is shrinking, okay? You have a shrinking ruler, okay? Because how could it be that the same thing I bought a year ago, 0.15 Bitcoin, is all of a sudden worth more, right? Well, it's probably because there's a demand for it, right? But anyway, this is showing you how much stronger Bitcoin is compared to the dollar. And if this scenario pick keeps going, right, then this is the way to get out of the rat race. Save in Bitcoin, take custody, and repeat. And eventually, you're going to get to the point where your little modest stack of 0.15 Bitcoin is worth a lot more than you thought, and you're on your way to getting out of the rat race. Carlos says, more than a yearly minimum wage over here. This is a big deal. Oh, the gains? Yeah, like pretty much. So Carlos, that's a really good point. Fees are back to normal from having a few weeks ago. Exactly. So putting away free food. Yes, let's go. Putting away free food and listening. Get it, McLovin. Nice job. So guys, it's very doable, okay? And you might look at this and say, well, that was a year ago. Bitcoin was down at 27,000. Bitcoin's at 60,000 now. I missed it. No, look. Let's start over. I started over on the tracking side just in 2024. If you had just put away $5, $10, whatever, however much around, then you would get, just this year, you're up about 20% if you started stacking with us just this year, 2024, right? So what's that 20% represent? It represents the value of the hours you worked going up. And I'm going to say this one more time, and I'm sorry for you guys that always hear it, but this is why we save in Bitcoin, because saving in Bitcoin is like giving yourself a perpetual retroactive raise for the hours you've already worked for as long as you hold the Bitcoin that represents that time, okay? And this is exactly it right here. Look, the Bitcoin show has been stacking since the beginning of the year, right? And we put away however much, $20. Let's just pretend that I get paid $20 an hour. I took one of those hours and I set it aside. I saved it, okay? And all these things, every single entry represents 1 hour of my life that I exchanged for $20, okay? Now, I took that $20 and I put it into Bitcoin instead of spending it. And now, whenever I look at my amount, the hours that add up to what I've worked here are actually now I'm making 20% more on the hours that I worked in the past. Okay, I know we're getting a little crazy here with the time travel and stuff, but there's different ways to look at it, right? Now, on the flip side, let's say that I took that $20 and I put it in a bank account. Okay, well, this works both ways. Does this money that I've invested into Bitcoin, if I just kept it in a bank account, I would be able to buy 20% less things with it. Okay, let's go to sats per good. Sats per goods, right? October 3rd, I started tracking my burrito purchases. My burritos cost me $13.70. At the time of that purchase, it would cost me at the price of Bitcoin back then, it would cost me 49,603 Satoshis. Okay. At the price of Bitcoin today, that same burrito would only cost me 21,703 Satoshis for like almost 60% discount on that thing, on that good, right? So as you save in Bitcoin, your purchasing power goes up and you have to spend less and less Satoshis, less and less Bitcoin to buy the same stuff, right? Or on the flip side, if you're saving in dollars, you have to spend more and more dollars to buy the same stuff. Okay, so it grows your purchasing power, and that's what you need. You can do this in America. You can do this in any other country in the world. Whatever your local currency is, it's probably getting debased. Okay, and it's even a bigger, more dramatic effect in a country where inflation is higher than what we have here. Okay, when inflation is higher than what we have here, and you take that value and you put it in Bitcoin, then you'll see these results sooner, because the value of the local money is going down so fast that as soon as you step out of that system and put that value into Bitcoin, you're going to become wealthier even faster relative to the economy, relative to the local economy. Okay. So for my friends in Latin America, right? Latinos, if you could do anything you can to get a little side hustle, sell a few things and start saving in Bitcoin, those few things are going to magnify your income so much that you'll have an easier, not an easier life, but maybe like you'll be able to do more things with your time. And it's just a better, it's a way to stay motivated. Okay. Because I understand. All I see is Sat says hard huddle. Let's go. It's a way to stay motivated, right? If you're in a country where inflation is so high that you don't want to work because it doesn't make sense, you work and by the time you get paid, the salary you negotiated isn't enough to buy you what you need to buy to live, right? Or you work and you only get paid that same day because by the time you get paid, the value of that money is like so low, right? In countries like that, if you take any kind of value and put it into Bitcoin, it's going to magnify it even faster, right? It's like the fact. It's like in those countries, what some people will do is they'll buy dollars, right, to hedge against their local money, right? Well, if you did the same thing, instead of buying dollars, you bought Bitcoin. Now you're hedging against the whole world system, right? So now you're it's like a double level, right? Just like how Americans move to other countries that have weaker money so that their dollars can buy them more things and they can live a better, easier life. Well, you can do the same thing in your own countries with Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is a step above the dollar, right? Look at how much the dollar is losing value against Bitcoin. Okay. Now imagine, and the thing is, you don't need a special permit. You don't need a special license. You don't need a special form to acquire Bitcoin. As long as you can just start acquiring it, and as you have it, it works out for everybody. There's no restrictions, right? There's no, well, in most countries, you're allowed to have it, right? Anyway, I digress. I've been going on and on. Let's go back. Let's go get into the actual SAT recap. Back to the SAT recap, guys. Damn, don't get me started, guys. Jeez. Okay, so here's our status. We're buying $20 worth of Bitcoin for the normal DCA, and we're doing the 100 stacks challenge, where we purchase some Bitcoin each day. We have about 40 days left. Today I'm gonna override it, guys. Today I need to buy the $13 stack because the pay period is close. So today we're doing a $13 stack for the 100 stacks challenge. Okay. And a $20 stack for our regular show DCA that we do Monday through Friday. Here we go. Now it's time. It's time to stack some sats. Here we go. Get this thing logged in. Browser. Carlos is like, finally! Finally the $13 buy. All right, first we're doing the $20 buy. Get this preview going. Oops. Preview. Take my screenshot. Okay. Adjust it a little bit and come back to the screen. Get that purchase going. Let's get that purchase going. Get that buy. All right. Payment initiated. I'll get the other ones queued up, guys. Give me a second. Today's episode 114. Dang, that's a lot of episodes. It's a lot of episodes. Okay, it's my first buy. Is in the notes. Okay. And this over here so I can see it. Turn on the music because when we stack, we chill. Where's the music? There it is. All right. Here we go. Next, we're also gonna do the. Oh, there it goes. We're also gonna do the $13 buy for the 100 stacks challenge. Let's go. Oh my gosh. My old KitchenAid. It's not old. My old new KitchenAid mixer with the ice cream maker attachment that I never used is not selling yet, guys. I need to sell that thing. My boy cutting it close to payday. Let's go. If you ain't struggling, you ain't stacking hard enough. Let's go. That's true, dude. That's facts. Facts. You guys know I ain't playing, guys. I'm all in. If you ain't struggling, you ain't stacking hard enough. Toxic Bitcoiner here. It's true. It's true, dude. You know, I made the calculations of my budget, right? I pay my expenses. I pay what I need to pay, and I allot enough for the stacks of the show and for throw around money, which is like going out with the kids, getting them snacks or whatever, just random stuff, you know. And but other than that, once it goes into Bitcoin, guys, that shit ain't coming back. That's for keeps. Okay, that's for keeps. My cold storage has one direction. That's in. That's it. BTC. Oh, sorry. J-Dub in the house. What up, broski? Good to see you in here. LF Go. Stacks that show. Stackopass in the house. Okay. And finally. Finally, the elusive $13 stack to the 100 Bitcoin stacks challenge. Everybody say what up to J-Dub in the house, making sure he knows that we're happy to have him in here. Hit that like button, boys, if you guys enjoying the show. We have $7,753 worth of purchases, worth of no fee purchases left on Swan. We're about to beat this thing. We gotta crush. We gotta crush that $10,000 purchase free. Sorry, we gotta crush that $10,000 fee free purchases on Swan. All right, here we go. I'm gonna do the preview and take a screenshot, and then we'll actually do the $13 purchase for today. Preview. My speech is getting all messed up. Here we go. Bam. All right. There we go. Just like that. $13. Another purchase going in for the 100 stacks challenge. That's how we roll. All right, let's update the spreadsheet real quick. Just the 100 stacks. Okay, it's oh, I didn't show you guys the buy, huh? There you go. All right, it's on its way. Okay. All right. 4. No, it's 5. 5, 7, 24. Cutting it close, right up to about payday. We bought today at $63,214. We paid we bought $13 worth. Fee free, by the way. 0.0002055 Bitcoin. In other words, 20,000 satoshis. Still, when you look at it in terms of satoshis, 20,000 satoshis, 20,500 satoshis, right? 20,500 satoshis divided by 144, right? That's 142 days of mining rewards for the whole day in the year 2136. in one stack. We did a $13 stack, and that $13 stack got us as many Satoshis as miners will be paid for 142 days when the year is 2136. Right? Can you look at me with a straight face and say that's not a good deal? Okay? Can you? Can you? Hey, subscribe. Hit that like button, boys. Subscribe and make sure you hit that bell notification. All right, it's been a long time since we've done Q&A. Remember, this Friday, May 10th, October. This Friday, May 10th, is Stacker Lounge episode. That means that I get to hang out and talk to you guys on our Discord server, and we're going to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about that's Bitcoin related, economy related, saving in Bitcoin, cold storage, whatever, all that stuff. We'll have a group conversation. It'll be live streamed over the web during this hour or this 30 minutes, and we're just going to hang out and talk about Bitcoin. Like toxic Bitcoiners, whatever, right? If somebody's new that wants to jump in, ask questions, come in, jump in and ask questions, right? That's going to happen at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern. Will that work for you, Carlos? I hope it does. I hope it does. Let's see. Yeah, if you want to be part of that conversation, hit up our Discord server. I'll put it in the chat. Join the Discord server and let's be part of our community, hang out. If you join our Discord server, we don't poop coin, we don't talk about yield products, we don't sell trading courses and that BS. Nobody in there should be doing that. If they do, report them, let me know. And we don't spam we don't spam members of our group with a bunch of random messages. Okay, if you're gonna join the group, join because you want to learn about Bitcoin, you want to be around other Bitcoiners. And yeah, I'm still at the office at the time. Okay. Are you at the office for that whole hour, Carlos? Damn, I have to figure it out. Maybe we can shift it around. We'll see. Would the old time help, which was 3 p.m. Eastern? Would the old time help, Carlos? But yeah, it's pretty wild. Okay. Another thing. Tomorrow, I don't know if I should be telling you this, guys, but tomorrow I'm gonna go be a jury. I'm gonna go be a jurist. I'm gonna do my civic duty. I'll report for jury. What is it called? Jury summons? A report for jury duty. I got jury duty, guys. Can you believe that? I'll be in that jury place. I'll be in the jury bullpen like this. with my arms crossed, flexing. I'll be loud talking about Bitcoin, orange pilling the whole freaking place tomorrow, guys. Trust me. But believe you me. Tomorrow, the orange pilling is going to be intense. Okay? I don't know if I'll be able to get out of jury duty and get home in time. I think they do a full day. I think they get released at 5 or something, right? So I won't be able to do the show tomorrow. So no show tomorrow, but we're still gonna stack. Okay, we're still gonna stack. I'll stack the 100 stacks challenge in the DCA, and then we'll talk about it on Thursday. Rick, let's go. What up, Rick? BTC logo isn't big enough on your cast. What do you mean? Oh yeah, it's pretty big. Study Bitcoin. What do you mean study Bitcoin? What's Bitcoin? Oh, well, let me tell you. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. tomorrow, I'm actually looking forward to it. It's like a new audience. Think about it. It's going to be a random section of residents, a slice of life, people that I may never, people that I might not have ever had a reason to come into contact with, cross paths with, are now going to be sitting there bored out of their freaking minds with nothing to do but read, maybe listen to their iPod or something, and have conversations, right? So I'm going to put this out there. I should have a shirt that says, ask me about Bitcoin. And I'm going to tell you, I'll let you guys know on Thursday how many people I talked to about Bitcoin during jury duty. Okay. And, yeah. You know what the first thing I'm going to say? Like, what do you mean? They're going to say, oh, who wrote that on there? It's like, oh, I did. What do you mean study Bitcoin? Oh, study Bitcoin, you know. Why should I study Bitcoin? It's like, well, because I'm just going to say, well, because saving in Bitcoin is like giving yourself a perpetual, retroactive, always increasing raise for the hours you've already worked for as long as you hold the Bitcoin that represents those hours. Right? Exactly. See, exactly. That's what we practice, Hard Huddle. This is why we've been doing this show, to get that right. Okay? And they're gonna tell me, what? But Bitcoin is $63,000. I can't afford that kind of thing. I'm not rich. I'm not made out of money. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Did you know that just like a dollar is made up of 100 cents, a Bitcoin is made up of 100 million Satoshis? They'll be like, what? Yeah. So like right now you could buy 1,500 Satoshis for $1. It's not bad. It's pretty affordable. It's actually pretty cheap. And they're going to say, whoa, this guy knows what he's talking about. I should make the show longer because no show tomorrow. Nice. Yeah, but that's funny. But yeah, that's the deal, right? That's the deal. Like, I'm just gonna be available and ready. I'll be available to talk about Bitcoin tomorrow with my jury members, with my jury selection people, whatever it's called. and most importantly, I'll be prepared to talk about Bitcoin, right? And I'll have my ear out. I'll be listening, right? And I'll be listening for things like, man, have you seen the price of things today? I'll be like, oh yeah. I'll be like, oh, there's somebody's ringing the bell at the desk at the counter. I need to go help them, right? Somebody needs help. Somebody's putting up the bat signal. Somebody's putting up the financial bat signal when they start complaining about how hard it is to make ends meet, right? And how we're only getting paid. Well, how much does jury get paid? I don't know. I thought to be a jury member you got paid. Anyway, you get paid like something meager, like $75 or $50 for the day, right? Who works for the whole day for $70 or $50, like in the US, right? So we'll talk about that. But like, how much are you getting paid for this? Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Oh man, it's wild. So anyway, I'm excited. I feel like I've been, you know, and for those of you guys that don't know, I really love Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. And don't get me wrong, I also like Rocky. I like 80s, 90s action movies, you know, especially the ones with the training sequences at the beginning, right? Like Karate Kid, Rocky, Bloodsport. What's the other one? Can't believe I'm spacing this one. Oh, Kickboxer, right? All the movies where the protagonist starts off at a certain point and they are not good enough, but they work hard to improve their skills, to improve their mind, to improve their body, to face the challenge that they want to face, right? And even if they don't quite make it, like in Rocky, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched Rocky by now, I don't know what to tell you. Even if they don't win, they are better people because they were on the path of improvement, right? And just like that, this show, this past 214 episodes have been my training sequence for jury duty tomorrow. I'm ready, okay? Don't be surprised if you see some new faces in here. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys are motivated to study Bitcoin, to talk about Bitcoin loudly in public. You know, loud talking about Bitcoin and the benefits. All right. I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Stack Sats Show. My name is Roman Castro. I'm here Monday through Friday, stacking sats and sharing the signal. Bitcoin only. Buy it, take custody, and that's all you gotta do. Do it again, and again, and again, and again. Okay? I'll see you guys Thursday. But until then, remember, if you ain't stacking, you're slacking.